I told you that you could learn anything, truly anything, on your own, would you be interested in trying it? You may think that's not possible, right? Because we're always told to get a teacher, get a trainer, to show up 2 or 3 times a week. After 6 months in, you're still mediocre, and after a year you drop out, and now you've wasted the whole fucking year. Was that pattern familiar to you? For me, it certainly is. But after trying so hard and getting nowhere, I tried a different way. I learned 3D art, I learned Spanish, I learned trading, I learned Photoshop and editing videos, even speaking English. You know, English is not my first language. I learned all those things on my own and free. But I know it's not easy at first. It wasn't for me either. But now I've done it so many times in so many different fields that when I want to start something new, I have a clear vision of what should be done. If that's interesting for you, make sure to watch till the end. The very first step while learning something new is getting familiar with that whole new space. This is assumed that you know nothing in that matter. You're like a newborn in that field. You can do this by talking to people who have done it before. Nowadays with social media, it's very easy to connect with new people. If the skill isn't that common or it's high level, meaning you can't access people in that field easily, you can achieve this by watching videos about it on YouTube. Remember, you don't have to learn much in this step, just enough to make you a bit familiar with that concept. The second step is to break that skill down into mini skills or mini steps. But what do I mean by that? We can categorize any skill into 2 divisions, the hierarchicals and the conglomerates. The hierarchical ones are like learning a new language or learning how to play the piano. You have to first learn the basics and then move on to the next harder stages. You can't form a sentence using subordinating conjunctions when you can't even form a simple present tense. It's literally impossible. Conglomerates, on the other hand, are made of other little skills. For example, you want to learn how to be a salesman. There aren't really any steps where it's easy at first, then it gets hard with time. But there are these mini skills like how to not get shy, how to present the product in a more appealing way, what sentences to use to attract a leaving customer. You see, all these mini skills form a salesman, and you can get better at sales by getting better at each of these individual skills. Making that distinction between these 2 categories is very important. There are lots of skills that we confuse with the wrong category. For example, boxing. Most people think it's hierarchical. In reality, it's not. It's a combination of other little skills. Throwing jabs, hooks, uppercuts, footwork, muscle-mind connection. Not doing this breakdown is the thing that is holding a lot of us back from starting. Because at the beginning, you don't know what to do or where to start. You see this impossible, ginormous task that even thinking about it overwhelms you. But if you shatter that beast into pieces, you can tackle them down one by one. But you also need another thing, a roadmap. Organizing these steps is a great way to not get confused in the learning process. You should organize the hierarchical skills from the most basic to the most complex. And for the conglomerates, organize them from the most essential to the ones with lower importance. Now that you've done the pre-work, it's time to learn. You've got 2 options, books or YouTube. Books are great, I personally love them a lot, but for the most part, a visualization can help you a lot when understanding a point. And for things like editing and art in general, it's usually harder to learn from a book. That's the reason I often choose YouTube over books. You can learn anything. Let me say that again, anything from YouTube. There is so much information out there online that you can learn more than 90% of the things taught in university on your own and free. However, you've got to know who to trust. When I want to choose from these YouTube channels, I look for 2 things, proof and consistency. If someone is at the level that you want to be in that particular field, they've got the proof. But be careful for these financial gurus. If they're like, they tell you a bit but you have to buy their course for the actual knowledge, they're probably a scam. Not all of them, but most of them are scams. For example, Alex Hormozi, whom I like a lot, is a great example of a good financial YouTube channel. He only promotes his own companies and he doesn't have this magical course that he teaches you how to be a millionaire in a week. And for consistency, you can check out how often do they upload. If they have a playlist like beginner to pro, it's great, watch that. And if they don't worry, just use the roadmap and the mini steps that you've prepared. Being an autodidact isn't easy, but it's fast. Sometimes I didn't have the resources to get a teacher, but instead I didn't have to take only 2 sessions a week. I can learn that amount or even more in a day. You can progress stupidly fast, but it needs determination. You can't mess around because no one is watching you. Stay focused. My name is Saint Shani. Thanks for giving me your attention. See you in the next video for now.